at Oldham and Leicester City. Certainly Lions boss Kenny Jackett will be viewing this as a game that his side should win. He makes 3 changes tonight, with Richard Duffy returning after injury, Lewis Grabban likewise, and Neil Harris coming back up front. So this is the Millwall lineup tonight. David Ford in goal, a back 4 of Richard Duffy at right back, 2 centre backs, Zach Whitbread and skipper Tony Craig, Andy Frampton at left back. Midfield, James Henry makes his home debut starting wide on the right. The 2 central midfielders, Jimmy Abdu and Adam Boulder. And Lewis Grabban comes back and he'll play wide left to start with. And up front it's Neil Harris, partnered by 2-goal Isel McLeod from Saturday. And certainly those 2 goals, albeit one was a penalty and one was a little bit scrappy, will have done him the world of good. On the bench for the Lions, Lenny Pidgley, the goalkeeper, Alan Dunn, Scott Barron, Ashley Grimes and Mark Laird. Swindon, they line up with Peter Brezovan in goal, back 4 of Jack Smith, Gerald Eiffel, Gordon Greer and Jamie Vincent, ex-Lion of course. In midfield, Kevin Amankwa on the right, Patrick Kanyuka, Michael Tinlin and Hal Robson-Kanu. And Billy Painter will play up front alongside 19-goal Simon Cox. On the bench for the Robins, Phil Smith, another ex-Lion, Anthony McNamee, Blair Sturrock, Hamid Razak and Jean-Francois Lescanal. Referee tonight is Pat Miller. Terry's alongside me as ever. And Terry, we're just saying, it's Millwall, it's Swindon tonight, it's Brighton on Saturday, it's Cheltenham on Tuesday. I think by next Wednesday we'll have a fair idea of whether the Lions have realistic automatic promotion hopes or whether the limit of their aspirations is the playoffs. Sorry, Terry's not plugged in. We'll get Terry plugged in and then he'll be able to talk to you. Can't find the end of his wire. Right, I'll talk to myself for the meantime. The 2 captains just complete the formalities with the sponsors, and now Terry, I think we might be able to hear you.
Yes, I'm in, yes.
You sat here all day and you haven't made to get your plug in the hole.
Yeah, no one wants to talk to me.
Anyway.
It is very much a case of these 3 games, as you said, very much will decide how we're going to go for the rest of the season, whether it is just the playoffs or whether we do manage to get somewhere near that automatic spot, because these are clubs near the bottom. Nevertheless, some of them do have some decent goal scorers in their ranks, which has been the one sort of downside to us recently. The only club that has got a decent goal scorer tends to actually find the target against us. The man Cox tonight is the one we're looking out for, because again, he's somewhere around the 20-goal mark, and we're basically our leading goal scorers only around the 7 or 8 mark. So it does make you wonder how Swindon are in the position they're in. But
it makes you wonder what position they'd be in if it wasn't for the 19 goals of Simon Cox.
They'd pretty much be adrift. So it's a case of we've got to ignore all that and get on with our own game, as it were.
It's been difficult for people to get to the Den tonight. There's awful roadworks at Blackheath, but they're crying up probably about 6,000 in the ground at the moment. Perhaps some already, some rather still trying to get here. It's a perfect night for football. It's dry, it's not too cold, and the question is, can Millwall rediscover their winning form here at the Den after that defeat, a very unfortunate defeat it must be said, against Scunthorpe United last time here. Since then, of course, another defeat up at Leeds, which you might equally say was unfortunate. Didn't get the rub of the green there, a penalty claim turned down and a clear sending off, which should have been, against Jermaine Beckford. Later the FA punishing him for that, but didn't help Millwall on the night. And then Saturday from 2-0 up, probably should have seen the game out against Stockport County, but ultimately held to a 2-2 draw after Tony Craig was sent off. Swindon Town in possession as the ball is played across the back forward. Gerald Eiffel, the brother of Phil, who had a lengthy spell here on loan. And now Jack Smith, who's back from injury, will take a throw for Swindon on this near side. Lewis Grabban gets the header there. He's playing in front of Andy Frampton tonight. Just shaking off that hamstring problem caused him to go off against Scunthorpe. Ball cleared away by Zach Whitbread, and here is Lewis Grabban on the ball on this near side of the field. throw to Swindon. Jack Smith will take it. 10 yards inside the Millwall half. Forward towards the edge of the area. That's a foul there on Zach Whitbread. The referee allows play to continue. Suggests he did see that, but the ball's running through to David Ford. Just been speaking to Paul Robinson downstairs, who says he'll be joining us for a bit of commentary in perhaps a couple of weeks' time, when he can actually get up to the press box. He's still got that big boot on his foot at the moment, and he's probably looking, he says, at this stage, maybe 6 weeks before he's back in full training, so perhaps 7 or 8 weeks before he can be back playing for the first team. They do a bit of elementary maths, and that takes you to the middle of April, and certainly the business end of the season, but must be immensely frustrating for him. And clearly, Andy Frampton, Tony Craig, Richard Duffy and Zach Whitbread in particular will have to share the centre-half duties between them. Of course, in addition, they've got Alan Dunn, Scott Barron, who can fill in at full-back if either Duffy or Frampton have to move centrally. Now, here's James Henry. Tries to work the ball through to Isaac McLeod. It actually hits Henry in the stomach. It goes out of play after clearance is belted at the Millwall number 11.
We've just had a sequence of throw-ins on both sides of the field. The play hasn't really developed at all. We had 3 or 4 throw-ins over on this right-hand side, and now we've had 3 or 4 throw-ins over on the left, where neither side really can do much with the ball. No one's basically been able to do much over the side of the halfway line.
As I say, the ball hasn't been in the centre of the field, but now Jimmy Abdu will play it across to Andy Frampton inside the centre circle. Now the players will be relishing playing on this den pitch after the conditions they had to deal with last weekend up at Edgeley Park, where really 3/4 of the pitch was just mud. There was no grass there at all. The den pitch for this time of the season looks to be in excellent shape.
Yes, there's just a few little scuffs in the places where you expect it in the centre of the goal mouths.
Goalkeeper Peter Brezovan will take the goal kick and just takes it short over to Jamie Vincent on that far side. And Swindon looking to play themselves out from the back, or having spotted that, probably won't allow them to do so easily again. Neil Harris wins the ball over on that right-hand side. He's just got Isaac McLeod in the box to aim for. He pulls it back further to Adam Bouldall's header straight at the keeper. Good thinking there by Chopper, because he looked up, he saw Isaac McLeod was the only player right in the centre, and he pulled it back to Adam Boulder, who doesn't score a lot of goals, and Adam got his header on target, but really he put it in the one place he didn't want to get it, which was straight at goalkeeper Peter Brezovan.
Yes, he basically ended it up hitting it from the penalty spot straight at the goalkeeper's sort of at his face kind of height. He didn't really get any decent power on it.
Swindon then counter-attack, and Richard Duffy has to slide the ball out of play over on the far side for a throw.
A couple of ricochets there that almost went against us, but good piece of work by Neil Harris earlier, where he created a loose ball and then put in a good cross.
Now it's Swindon still trying to progress forward. Duffy again just knocks the ball out of play.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we go over on that right-hand side with two home debutants tonight.
Kenny Jackett brought 4 players in, 2 permanently, although one's on a fairly short-term contract, and 2 on loan since the transfer window opened at the start of January. And here's another of them, Isaac McLeod, who gives chase. The ball just makes it into the penalty area before he can get there. And Isaac still working his way back to full match fitness. He had a lengthy injury prior to coming to Millwall, and I don't think Millwall fans have probably seen the best of him as yet. The Isaac McLeod that we remember from his days at MK Dons, but that full game at the weekend and the 2 goals will have stood him in good stead. Now here's Neil Harris taking possession. He plays it with the outside of his right boot and finds Isaac McLeod. Ball ricochets and actually hits him in the face, and brings a tear to his eye. I think it caught him right on the bridge of the nose. Now Zach Whitbread has to chase back as the ball is planted forward. He gets it up the line. Lewis Grabban, nice little header, tries to just head it up the line past Jack Smith and run onto it. Still Isaac McLeod wiping the tears away from his eyes.
Lewis has sort of drawn the short straw tonight, where he's been sort of designated the player to play wide left. I mean, the other option really tonight with Dave Martin's suspension was probably someone like Scott Barron. So
well, I think that was the debate going on amongst the management team, from what I can gather. I think there were arguments 2 and 4, sort of for and against both of them. Obviously, Scott Barron less of an attacking player naturally, but is a natural left footer. They've gone for Lewis Grabban at home, knowing that they need to find more goals, and the onus is on Millwall to take the game to their opponents. Neil Harris trying to do a bit of closing down, but the ball is cleared away by Brezovan up towards Lewis Grabban. I don't think Grabban will be too bothered about playing on the left-hand side. Zach Whitbread plays it forward to Harris, finds Lewis Grabban. Grabban got a man at his back, he controls it and protects the ball well, finds Andy Frampton and then offers himself to receive a return ball. Frampton, though, runs into a bit of trouble, but Zach Whitbread plays a ball forward with some pace looking for Isaac McLeod. I think had it not been blocked by the defender, it would have gone all the way through to the goalkeeper. Now, Swindon will build, and the ball will be played into the channel. I was going to say it's got too much on it, but I think Cox might well get there, and does on this right-hand side, and puts the cross in with a deflection, and it's Jimmy Abdu getting back into his penalty area and clearing that away, and then Zach Whitbread helps it out for the throwing.
Yeah, I think that pass forward there was actually a bit of a miss kick. He ended up sort of toe poking it wide into the sort of corner flag area, and Cox had to use his pace to go get it, but I don't think that was actually his original idea for the pass.
The throw is to Amankwa, and his attempted shot from distance is blocked, and there's a Millwall player down. And
I do hate this rule, Dino, because the Swindon players, thankfully, have took the initiative. Jimmy's completely poleaxed, and they've took the initiative to get the ball out, and the referee's standing 2 yards away from him and won't blow his whistle. I mean, he must see how injured the player is. Just blow your whistle, because the onus is on the referee to stop the game. It's not on the players anymore.
Yeah, I think there's still some confusion about that because for a period of time it was reliant on players taking that initiative. Jimmy Abdu took a real fearful whack with that shot from Amankwa. He really did drill it with some power, and Jimmy Abdu was no more than 5 or 6 yards away from it. Took it right in the chest. I think it's winded him more than anything else.
Yes, I mean, but the referees still seem to be sort of got their heads around. It's got to be a head injury for them to stop the play. Well, no, the fact is now, because no matter what the injury, the onus is on them. Therefore, they should stop the game no matter what. Because now, of course, you have the debate about how do you restart the game, because the onus now is on the players. They don't have to give the ball back.
Yeah, I think Andy Frampton is going to give it to Adam Boulder, and he will be allowed by the Swindon players just to knock it out of play on this near side for a throw to Swindon Town on halfway, which, you know, a lot of clubs then bang it downfield and then make them start with a goal kick. I thought Adam was being very fair there, gave them possession back more or less where they were in control of the ball before Jack Smith put it out. Anyway, all of which comes to nothing. Millwall will have a goal kick, and David Ford will collect the ball. Neil Harris just chatting to Isaac McLeod. During the course of the season, Millwall will be interested to know, and there's something for you to do when you can't sleep at night, Terry, to work out how many different strike partnerships Millwall have had this season, because there have been quite a few.
More than quite a few, I think, is the answer.
Lewis Grabban was caught there by Jack Smith, who got a bit of the ball, but it was he caught as much of Lewis Grabban as he went through with it.
Yeah, I think it was the fact that his initial foot missed the ball. He sort of virtually sat on it to make the challenge. That's what the referee's saying to him. It's not so much because it particularly made contact or anything like that. It's the fact that he did actually, it was the intent, the fact that he raised his studs, didn't make initially contact with the ball, and ended up sort of hitting it with his backside. And they've taken a quick through kick there.
Zach Whitbread plays it square to Duffy, who falls over, fortunately gets himself to his feet again before he lost possession of the ball. Now Adam Boulder just dinks one into Isaac McLeod, takes it with it on his chest, tries to work himself an opportunity to get a shot in, goes down, but the ball's back out now to James Henry. Low cross in, but too close to the goalkeeper with Neil Harris looking to get on the end of it.
It's just a shame there, because it was a good first time cross, but we just couldn't get anybody in the near post area. The ball sort of didn't get put beyond the sort of penalty spot in line with that.
A good little header on there by Billy Painter, but fortunately for Millwall, it goes through to David Ford once again. Painter got up above Zach Whitbread there. Ford's clearance up towards Isaac McLeod, who again was being wrestled a little bit. Henry plays it back to Duffy. As Terry was mentioning, the two debutants, or home debutants, shall we say, for Millwall, both playing on that right flank. And now Ford receives a back pass and thumps it out of play over on the far side for a throw to Swindon.
Yeah, I think both sides really have got a similar problem. They haven't got the biggest of centre forwards, so a lot of the goalkeepers' kicks, when they do have to kick it, is going to be into the wider areas, and of course then it's more difficult to kick the ball in play. I mean, we're also seeing it, both goalkeepers are desperately trying to throw the ball out from the back because they know they're not going to win too many aerial balls up to their front men.
Timlin knocks a little header forward, but Abdou takes it off Cox, and now Grabban, who's moved inside, finds Isaac McLeod. McLeod works himself some space and plays it out to James Henry. Three making for the box here. Henry looking for the wide, plays a low ball in, but it wasn't a good cross, and easily cut out there by Kanyuka for Swindon Town. Again, it's all about the delivery. That's a good run over on that far side, and I think it's going to be a free kick in the end. Robson Kanu goes down after two or three Millwall players all tried to stop him in his tracks, but once you look at the lack of goals in comparison to Leicester City, Peterborough United, MK Dons, in particular of the front-running teams, it's not all just been about wasteful finishing. It's been about quality of ball for the strikers to feed off. Ball not kept in over on the far side in the end, goes out of play for a Millwall goal kick. And we've had a couple of occasions there where James Henry, who's only just come into the side, has got himself good space over on that right-hand side and hasn't put in good enough crosses. And but I'm not blaming him for that. But that's been perhaps symptomatic of the way it's gone for Millwall during much of the season.
Well, if you remember, Dano, when Jay Simpson used to play on that side of the pitch, he tended to use the Arsenal way, in that he used to put a lot of low near post crosses in, try and hit the ball hard and low. I think James Henry's probably of the same ilk, where Reading play that type of football. They don't just bang in the cross into the centre.
Isaac McLeod challenging for the ball down in the corner. Swindon managed to get it clear, but Lewis Grabban is trying to win possession back. He goes to ground. Mill will get a throw. 10 yards, 15 yards inside the Swindon half.
Most of the play's been pretty clumsy at the moment from both sides, as neither side been able to string too many passes together.
Andy Frampton takes the throw, finds Isaac McLeod. Was there a handball there? Must have been.
Yeah, he sort of rolled up his side and then up his arm, because I don't think he really wanted the throw in where Andy Frampton threw it. Sort of bounced up at him and he wanted the ball just thrown at his feet.
Peter Brezovan will take the goal kick free kick, I beg your pardon, for Swindon. He's halfway between his penalty area and the halfway line. It's taking a while to get it clear. He's wearing a grey and black goalkeeping kit tonight. And Andy Frampton wins the header, goes out of play for a throw to Swindon, level with the edge of the Millwall penalty area. Smith will take the throw. Lewis Grabban keeping a watchful eye on Amankwa, who's looking to receive the ball. And the throw is taken. Frampton it is who controls it and just knocks it back out of play. So the ball is still very much bogged down in that area. Smith will run and collect the ball. But nobody's in any great hurry here, are they?
It's all very lackadaisical at the moment, the game as a whole. It's not come to any kind of life at all.
Smith will take the throw for Swindon. Throws it into the feet of Cox. Back it goes to Smith again on his left foot. Plays a low cross in, and eventually Henry it is who clears it, but with a lot more height than distance. Tony Craig helps it clear. Lewis Grabban can only just turn it forward, but not to any good effect from a Millwall point of view. Here's a Amankwa out on this right hand side. Nice little touch through, but Jimmy Abdou reads it. Now Frampton to Boulder, back to Abdou, and Abdou will knock it up towards Neil Harris. Harris beaten to the first ball, but will get his body in there and try and control the bouncing ball, and there's a boot in his nose there, and quite correctly the referee gives the free kick.
Well, he took a bit of a chance there, Neil, because basically the Millwall players just stopped and said to the referee, well, what about that? And fortunately he gave in our favour.
Short free kick to Andy Frampton. And Ball into the corner. Ooh, that wasn't the best of challenges from Andy Frampton there on Gerald Ifill. And Frampton perhaps a little bit fortunate. I think one or two other referees might have waved a yellow card there.
Well, I think it was much to Ifill's credit in the fact that he saw Andy Frampton was basically falling towards him as he sort of come rushing across, and he sort of sidestepped him and just sort of fell on the floor and then just jumped straight back up. And many a player, particularly the lad the weekend at Stockport, who rather vented out, who just basically went down at the drop of a hat.
Tony Craig has to rather hastily turn the ball back to his goalkeeper there. David Ford now has a bit of time. He's just moved outside his penalty area, plays it forward up towards James Henry, who controls it. Richard Duffy keeps it in play, finds Abdou. Abdou back to Duffy again. Duffy will need to unload it, but he just takes his time, gives it to Harris. Now Henry takes over. He's going to again make for the byline. He's only got well, 2 to aim for. Eventually he gets the throw in, and it'll be Duffy who will come down and take the throw. Throws it into James Henry, but Henry just knocks it way over Richard Duffy's head and out of play again.
Yeah, he was a bit too hurried there and he couldn't control his ball back to Duffy.
A lot of people said good things about James Henry. We haven't seen enough of him yet to really see what he's made of, but he scored 4 goals, I think, in cup competitions this season for Reading. Here's Lewis Grabban centrally, tries to play it into Neil Harris as a poor ball. Zach Whitbread's got to come across him. Watch Simon Cox. Cox now is heading for the edge of the penalty area, plays in a low ball out to the far side. It's Millwall 0, Swindon Town 0. 4 minutes on the clock when Millwall had their one and only real chance so far. Adam Boulder with a header straight at keeper Peter Brezovan from an excellent Neil Harris cross. Apart from that, the game's got rather bogged down in midfield so far. It's the Lions 0, Swindon 0. Back to the right hand side, and cross comes in low, and again Millwall scramble it clear as Swindon looks in a dangerous position there with Painter just inside the penalty area, and Millwall struggling to find real rhythm at this juncture. We've played 19 minutes gone. Put back out to the left hand side. Jamie Vincent drills it forward. Tony Craig clears up to Neil Harris. Harris now will play it in behind, and that was the right idea from Chopper. Used the pace of Isel McLeod, but it was cut out there by Gerald Ifill, and unfortunately so far what Millwall have tried going forward hasn't really worked. Now Zach Whitbread has to go back to his goalkeeper again. Ford watches that one and hits it long forward, but again it's Swindon head on the ball, but then Jimmy Abdou does what he so often does and sorts the situation out, wins possession back. Now here's Richard Duffy into Boulder, but that's an awful ball from Duffy, and Boulder had no chance of controlling that. Now it breaks out to this near side, and Manka just takes a touch and finds Kenyuka. At the moment it's Swindon playing most of the football. Neil Harris is racing to try and get it back, and Lewis Grabban makes an interception, but the ball goes straight to Smith. Boulder comes in and realises that some challenges need to be put in. Again Millwall have won it back and given it straight back again. Space out on that right hand side for the overlapping Jamie Vincent. Richard Duffy goes across just to try and close him down. Cross comes in, Abdou gets it clear. Isel McLeod tries to win it back and again loses possession. And Millwall, it's almost like a bar of soap, isn't it? When a blue shirt touches it, it gets away from them. Abdou again slides in and makes a challenge, but again the ball breaks to a red shirt. Now Millwall have it, and now here's Isel McLeod, plays it back to Boulder. Boulder turns it out with height on it to this near side, and that's going out of play off Jack Smith for a Millwall throw.
Yeah, it's just at times the players are a little too lightweight in the challenge. You know, they're sort of 50-50s, and players are just trying to tippy-toe it round the corner rather than make a good solid challenge and keep losing possession. It's not just one side, both sides have been guilty of that at times.
Now Duffy plays it in towards Isel McLeod, right edge of the penalty area, just keeps control of it, and 2 Millwall players collide as James Henry takes over from him, puts the cross in, but Amankwa easy header away. Richard Duffy though wins it back. Now can he keep a control of it, gives it to Boulder. Now it's out to James Henry again. Again a poor low cross in, but it might break for Lewis Grabban, works himself a shooting chance, and it's over the bar. Took a touch there, Lewis, rather than hit it first time. but then immediately he was closed down by Gordon Greer as he tried to get his shot in.
But it is, both sides are guilty of that low cross. Neither side are willing to just put the decent high ball in, take the chance that one of their players will get on the end of it. And you saw just now Swindon had a breakaway and Jamie Vincent had all the time in the world to put in a cross, and he just pulled the ball low and flat back to the edge of the area, and it was easily cleared.
Brezovan takes the goal kick. Whitbread with the header straight to Smith. Now ball played in there by Manqua, easy for Whitbread to deal with, but he takes his time. He's not quite sure what's on ahead of him.
Eisel was offside when he initially went to play it through.
Here is McLeod now onside, back to Harris. Harris holds his head in his hands as he tries to knock it wide to Lewis Grabban, but ends up shanking it straight forward.
Yeah, he probably didn't need to make the pass, although it was the right idea as such. The fact was he could easily have kept the ball himself and come forward with it. The fact was he was a little too eager to get the ball through to the runner.
Simon Cox is penalised for a foul on Zach Whitbread, so Millwall have a free kick. We've played halfway through the first half we are at the moment. Not a great deal in terms of attacking excitement from either side as Ford takes the kick, and Harris got a good flick on there.
James Henry was just sort of caught watching the game, as it were, because he just wasn't moving at all to come in on that.
Probably went a bit straight anyway, would have gone through to Brezovan, the keeper, who clears it. And backpedaling there is Tony Craig, and David Ford comes right out to the right-hand corner of his penalty area and helps him out. He in turn rolls it to Zach Whitbread. Now what movement is there for Zach? Plays it into the feet of Neil Harris. Harris out to Frampton on this near side. He takes it past one challenge, but Jack Smith gets back to him, and Craig controls with his shoulder, finds Adam Boulder. Boulder in turn square to Richard Duffy. Eisel McLeod makes a run. Ball needs to go now. Gone just a little bit late possibly. Eisel McLeod is being held off there. The goalkeeper's come right out of his penalty area, but it might have been Eiffel, just ran across Eisel McLeod, had no idea where the ball was going. Now Grabban back to Zach Whitbread. Whitbread, the ball forward is not a good one. Smith plays it back towards Whitbread. Now Jimmy Abdu is fouled there by Timlin. Referee allows the play to carry on because Boulder gets it and finds Henry, and Henry in turn to Richard Duffy. Duffy rampaging forward, he still has possession, goes back in turn to Tony Craig. Craig into Boulder, back to Craig again. Now Frampton is available on this near side. That's not the best ball for Andy Frampton, but he will control it and find Adam Boulder. Now he will go back across to the right hand side, playing in front of Swindon at the moment. Difficult to find a bit of space. Now it's played to Henry again. He's got Harris outside him. Henry decides not to use him, plays a deep cross in, and well-headed, well-chested behind by Jack Smith, because he had Jimmy Abdu had made a great run into the penalty area, and then Lewis Grabban behind him, and Smith showed a very cool head to get that one wide.
Yes, it was one of those, it was that awkward height, just sort of chest to midriff height, and you can't get a head back to the goalkeeper and he can't get a foot up to it, so in the end he has to sort of accept that he's just going to have to give away a corner,
which James Henry takes on this near side. First corner of the night for Millwall. It's got a deep one, it's headed away. A lot of bodies went in there and none of them could quite get on it. Henry collects it on this near side and will deliver the ball once more. It's a good one too, and it's headed clear and just helped out of play for another throw-in this time to Millwall. Neil Harris wants the ball quickly from the ball boy. He's not going to get it.
Yeah, he's trying to get the tempo going. That's the one thing we've got to get going.
Andy Frampton thinking about a longer one. Zach Whitbread has stayed in there, without a big centre forward as such. Whitbread tries to get the back flick. It's knocked away, and Tony Craig will just control it and play it inside to Adam Boulder as Swindon move out with pace. And Jamie Vincent, very cool there, just lets that roll out of play.
Yeah, he used his experience there because Henry sort of dropped off, waiting to see where he headed it, and by seeing that, Vincent thought, well, if you're going to drop off, I've got all the time in the world to step under the ball and let it roll out for a throw into us.
So throw level with the edge of the Swindon penalty area on that far side. 0-0 the scoreline. And Henry got away with a bit of a push there. Ball is cleared though up towards Cox. Now Painter. Knocked out of play though by Zach Whitbread. Throw to Swindon, 10 yards inside their own half still.
Yeah, I think it might actually be worth us swapping the two wide men for 5 minutes just to see how that goes, to try and maybe get Lewis Grabban a bit more involved in the game.
A long time to get that throw-in taken. Ball knocked square to Zach Whitbread. He's got a bit of time. Frampton's available on this near side, but it's played into the feet of McLeod. His touch for Lewis Grabban, who's gone a bit more central. Doesn't find him. Smith nicks it away from him. Now Cox controls. Good tackle again by Jimmy Abdu, I beg your pardon. Now Craig plays it back to Duffy. Duffy in turn decides that the safe option is to go back to his goalkeeper.
Yeah, we keep getting ourselves closed down at time when our centre-backs or full-backs are getting the ball. They're looking for an inside pass and it's not really on.
Now Harris beaten in the air. Andy Frampton though takes over and is going square. Now gets his head down to go forward and, well, certainly got a nudge, but no more than that. Referee says play on. Ball just kept in play by Painter on this near side. Mankwa's going forward at pace. Adam Boulder's tracked that run, and Boulder's just held him up nicely, but Mankwa's still on the ball.
Shocking dive! Absolutely. The linesman has actually given us a foul for a pole. And Mankwa threw himself right up in the air, and then sort of as he came down, grabbed onto Adam Boulder's shirt. The linesman was rather embarrassingly give the free kick the other way. It was a shocking dive.
I think Mankwa knew he wasn't going anywhere. Boulder actually played him quite well there.
He just stood behind him, and Mankwa in the end thought, well, I'll just try it on here. But it's the way he did it. He just threw his legs right up in the air, and on his way down, he's sort of holding on to Adam Boulder just to cushion his landing.
Clearance from David Ford up towards Isa McLeod, who turns Eiffel there, according to the referee, and that's a free kick to Swindon.
Again, that's the problem, a high-hanging ball. No one attempts to go for it with their head.
Swindon will just play it across the back to Jamie Vincent. Vincent's got a man hugging the left-hand touchline. Robson Cardo plays it forward.
Offside?
Yeah.
That was embarrassingly offside there, because Painter had sort of gone and the player just held and held and held. And by the time he eventually gave the pass, he was a good 10 yards offside.
David Ford comes a long way out of his goal to take the kick. We're approaching the 29th minute.
So again now, where's he going to put this kick? Because we haven't got a lot of aerial. He's probably going to have to kick it wide.
Well, hits it fairly straight. It's nodded away quite comfortably there. And played back to Smith. Smith booms it forward with a lot of side spin. Andy Frampton watches that down and then hooks it back forward, but it's straight to Smith again. And Smith will play it back up the line. Held up there by Cox. Good foot in there by Frampton. Nice header from Harris. Can Eisel keep it in? Yes, he can. Right down in the corner. He's got support behind from Lewis Grabban. Still Eisel McLeod. Just ran straight into Amankwa and has to settle for a throw.
Yeah, it was a nice idea, but again, he took a strong touch.
Frampton receives the ball and will try and get the cross in. I think it comes off Andy Frampton, and it does, and goes behind for the goal kick. So
it did, but I rather felt we could have got a foul there, because Amankwa seemed to push him as he was about to actually knock that ball in.
So Millwall not really making a great deal of headway at the moment. Goal kick to Swindon Town as the half-hour mark is passed. Clearance from Brezovan. And Zach Whitbread, I think he got
he was clearly
a nudge
pushed
there, wasn't he?
I mean, if he's going to give the one he gave against Eisel McLeod just now, then that was an absolute cert of a free kick.
Smith just plays it, takes the throw and then receives it back from Kanyuka. Goes back to his goalkeeper. Brezovan makes a good clearance and Zach Whitbread wins the header, but it's out of play for another throw. Smith will take it. We've got some scores, have we? Tranmere 1, Peterborough 0 is one. This affects the top of the table. Leicester also playing tonight, and they're 1-1 apparently. Drawn a lot of games recently. Jimmy Abdu plays it forward, and there's a free kick for a foul by Eisel. No, is it offside against Eisel McLeod? We're all in wrestling there. Eisel thinks the free kick should be taken from further back. Just trying to think who else is playing tonight. MK Dons aren't playing, that's for sure. I don't think Oldham are either. Clearance forward by Andy Frampton. Neil Harris tries to hold his ground. That hits the hand, surely, of Lewis Grabban, and does. And another free kick to Swindon Town. Smith will take the free kick, takes it short. Nobody's picked up Michael Timlin, who's given it straight away to and Lewis Grabban's actually picked it up now. It was given away to James Henry initially, but then Grabban's lost possession, and Millwall just are conceding too much cheap possession here. Credit to Grabban, who's worked his way back. Adam Boulder helps him out, but still Swindon have possession. Here's a Manqua, overlap from Jack Smith. He's going to use Smith here. Dangerous position. Clearance away by Zach Whitbread at the expense of a throw. But
I don't think there's many players not having a go at Lewis Grabban there, because not only did he give the ball away when he ran in field, it also meant that he left Andy Frampton completely exposed and couldn't get back.
Hereford 0, Leeds 0. That's the other game involving the top. And Stockport have taken the lead against Cheltenham Town. Cheltenham down in the bottom 4. Of course, Millwall will go there next Tuesday. In fact, they're bottom of the table. Throw to Swindon.
Hereford beat them the weekend, didn't they? 3-2.
Yeah.
After they was in the lead for much of the game.
Hereford could do us a favour today if they can get a result against Leeds. But the most important result is the one here.
Well, that's it. It's in our own hands. This month really is. It's about what's in our own hands. Getting these next 3 results.
Might have to grind this one out, because it's certainly not going Mill's way at the moment, albeit there's still 0-0. But Swindon are giving as good as they get. Ball into the penalty area, headed away by Richard Duffy. But Millwall again have lost possession. Ball played in. Oh, Zach Whitbread stretched out a foot. That could have gone anywhere if he'd have made contact. Fortunately, he didn't, and David Ford was able to take possession of it.
Well, he actually thought that Simon Cox, being the predator that he was going to be right behind him. As was, Cox had switched off and not actually run into the box at all.
Jimmy Abdu beaten in the air, but it breaks to Duffy. 2 players go down in a heap. Now James Henry picks it up on that right-hand side. Running out of space here. Finds Harris. Harris does well, comes inside, lays it back to Duffy. Takes his eye off the ball there. And decides he's got to go all the way back to Zach Whitbread. Now Andy Frampton picks it up. Frampton has a look for a longer ball forward towards Isel McLeod. McLeod gets a bit of that one, goes down in a heap. Referee says no foul. And it's a throw instead to Millwall. Isel has a word with the referee, asks why he didn't get anything for that. All a bit tight on this near side. Whitbread receives from Frampton, plays it across to Tony Craig. Now it's out to Duffy again on the right hand side. And Duffy asking for someone to make a move for him, and again Isel is unable to win that one. He's taking a bit of a battering from Gordon Greer there. Now Henry with a chance to break forward. Millwall need to get a bit of impetus into their play here. Swindon playing a very high line. Henry's going to go down to the byline on his own, but he's been stopped in his tracks, and there was nothing. If he'd have got there, there was nobody to play it to. There's a free kick given against Tony Craig for leaning in on the back there of Billy Painter. But Millwall seem to have just lost their way a little bit at the moment.
Well, we're playing too lightweight. We're making it easy for Swindon to bully us.
Adam Boulder comes in. That's we need a bit more of that. But still, Millwall have got to win the ball and keep it.
Well,
Zach Whitbread does.
Saturday, him and Jimmy Abdu are racing in Adam Boulder, winning the challenges, but our 2 wide men are standing watching them. So the other opposition are just getting the ball back and just playing on again. You know, everyone's got to. If you're going to go, you've got to go together.
Smith takes the throw. Back it comes from Painter to him. He then plays it square. And Isel McLeod gives chase across field as the ball reaches Jamie Vincent. Now Vincent plays it in. Craig intercepts. Might break for Harris. Harris does well, gets it down. But there's no movement for him really. Nothing happening at all. Lays it back to Richard Duffy. Then Harris goes on further. Abdu.
Well, Lewis Grabban's just gone walkabout. He's just completely disappeared to the other side of the pitch. There's nobody left on the left.
Now Zach Whitbread picks it up on this near side. Grabban shows short for him, but there really is a lack of movement at the moment. Here's Grabban. It's Andy Frampton on this near side. Now it's played into McLeod. He's got Henry in space on the far side. Boulder will use him. James Henry controls. Duffy's gone on the overlap. Henry comes inside. Holds it up well. Still James Henry. Now what can he produce in terms of a cross up towards Isaac McLeod? Brezovan comes out and makes the catch. But it took a long time to get the ball into the area, but eventually it got there.
But again, the only other problem to that was there was only one in the box.
Clearance from the keeper. Andy Frampton wins it. Boulder finds Graben. Back to Adam Boulder again. Boulder to Duffy. Need a runner or two from midfield, don't we? Maybe Mark Laird might offer that at some stage. Graben wants the ball back. He's got it back. Two in the box to aim for, and another joining. Cross comes in. Smith gets the header away. And Andy Frampton will control it. Lays it back out to the right-hand side to Duffy. Henry's on that right-hand side. Vincent's going to meet him. Good cross in from Henry. Looking for Harris. Harris heads it up in the air. Can he turn it back in? Well, he lays it back towards Boulder. It's past Boulder, and Zach Whitbread gives it to Frampton. This is better from Millwall. Into Lewis Graben. Graben loses possession there as Timlin slid in on him. And Adam Boulder chases back. Now, square ball to Kanyuka. Well won back there by Jimmy Abdo. This is better from Millwall in midfield. Lewis Graben is playing wherever he likes at the moment. Now Isaac McLeod, he wants somebody wide. Ball ricochets to Frampton. Frampton now into the channel to Harris. Not offside. Nobody in the box for Harris. He has to hold it up, which he does nicely. Then pulls it back to the far post. There's the header from Jimmy Abdo. Fine save by Brezovan. Great play by Harris. Here's James Henry. Pulls it back, this time looking for Harris. Harris heads it down, but straight to a red shirt. And Frampton has to use his body to control it and get it away from Billy Painter. But that was far better from Millwall. Just getting up a bit ahead of steam. That's a good ball there from Zach Whitbread out to James Henry, who tries to turn it round the corner for Duffy. And then Henry goes to ground. In comes Tony Craig. That's a two-footed lunge. And it's going to be a Millwall free kick. Craig gets up and accepts the apology. But it wasn't pretty there from Jamie Vincent.
Yeah, it was one of those. I'm sure Jamie Vincent initially saw who it was coming towards him. He hesitated and then suddenly thought, well, I better go in protecting myself. Craigie never holds back. And of course, Jamie then got there late because Craigie got to the ball first and towed it round him.
But suddenly Millwall just got a bit more width, a bit more movement into their play, a bit more liveliness. That lovely back heel from Harris finds Isaac McLeod. He's got a man out on that far side. Instead he goes back to Adam Boulder. Boulder now needs a bit of width. Graben is getting there, but slowly. Frampton comes up in support, finds Graben. Graben holds it up. Now Lewis Graben tries to come inside, but again he's challenged by Smith and not having a lot of joy at the moment, Lewis Graben.
Well, the fact is Lewis made the ultimate mistake in that once your fullbacks run past you on an overlap, you can't afford to lose it.
Now Duffy brings it forward on the right-hand side. Harris has gone out to that far touchline. Adam Boulder has a look at what's on. There's not a great deal, so he goes back to Duffy again. Harris is still out on the wide because Henry's inside. And now Tony Craig brings it forward himself. The lack of other options. Plays it out to Harris on that right-hand side. Players now moving into the box. Harris tries to get the crossing. Rebounds to Duffy. Goes back to Harris again. Harris wants Henry to make a run into the channel. Instead he comes inside. Still Harris. Ball ricochets a little bit. Now Lewis Graben takes over. That's better from Lewis towards the edge of the box. Holding the ball under control. Little back flick. Harris tries to turn it on to Andy Frampton and probably wishes he'd decided to try a snapshot. There wasn't much time for him to get his shot away and the ball was bouncing up at him. And Manqua breaks away for Swindon Town after that spell of Millwall pressure. Millwall now have to funnel back in defence. Ball back to Kanyuka. Out to the right where Painter is closed down by Boulder, but certainly more encouragement in the last 5 minutes from Millwall.
Yes, but again, we are taking a few chances because it basically involves us having to use a lot of players or commit a lot of players. We're having to commit both our full-backs at times. And even there, you saw Tony Craig come racing up right through into the centre of midfield. So you've got to make sure that if you are going to do that, you can't afford to just gift the opposition the ball.
Jack Smith being forced backwards, plays it square across the back to Greer. Greer in turn to Jamie Vincent, and Swindon Town prepared to get their defending players back up in support of their attack at every opportunity. Throw to Swindon, level with half the edge of the Millwall penalty area. Timlin receives the ball back, plays a low cross. It's cleared away by Tony Craig, and that's
a weak decision from the referee. Timlin, no attempt to play the ball, just jumped and feigned as if he'd been fouled by Henry. Neither player really tried to head the ball there.
Free kick is out to the left-hand side of the penalty area from Millwall. It's sort of, I suppose, diagonally about 10 yards out from the left corner of the penalty area. It's going to be played in left-footed, and there's the free header, and there's the goal. Well, it was a simple free kick, and I think it's the big central defender as it was put it in. No, I think it's Billy Painter possibly who got the final touch.
It's Painter, and he's basically stood on the 6-yard line in the centre of the goal, all on his own. Not one player anywhere near.
It was a simple free kick from that left-hand side, and Painter with a complete free header. David Ford, no chance whatsoever, and Millwall find themselves a goal behind 3 minutes before the break. It's Millwall 0, Swindon Town 1.
But it's the type of thing you expected, because we're just playing so slack that you just expect Swindon just to have just a nothing breakaway as out there, just get a nothing free kick, swing it in, and no one was paying attention. Adam Boulder has just tried what you watch every Sunday someone try and do. The restart is tapped to the side, and he had a shot, and it must have missed by maybe a yard. It just drifted wide of the goal. I think Bresnan had it covered, but you don't often see that in league football.
No, would have certainly helped Millwall's cause if that had gone in, but it looks like they're going to go into the break a goal behind, and just when they seem to be getting on top in the game. It's a poor goal to concede from a defensive point of view. Now here's Lewis Graben on this near side, but Smith has taken it off him. Lewis mustn't foul. Zach Whitbread clears it away, looking for McLeod. Breaks to Graben. Now Graben is offside, is Eisel, by a long way offside.
I think it was the fact that Lewis had about half a dozen touches before he eventually played it forward. Whatever it is we're trying to do out there, it just isn't working. The fact that the wide men are just staying as they are. I'd love to see both wide men try and swap flanks, see if they can do something a bit different from the opposite side. Lewis, it's totally unnatural for him to play left side. I know he can do it, but the fact is it means we've got no crosses coming in from a left foot.
Yeah, well, Scott Barron is the option on the bench in that regard. Andy Frampton gets away with taking a little bit of a ride on the back of Billy Painter there. To throw though to Swindon.
That's what makes me laugh with referees. The referee saying no, it was you backing in. Well, if you're backing in, surely that's a foul then.
Smith will take the throw for Swindon Town, halfway inside the Millwall half. Swindon fans are the ones that you can hear in good voice as Neil Harris is back deep in his own half, trying to help out defensively. Cross is half cleared there by Henry. Duffy beaten to that one, and the cross played in there and blocked by Kanu. His free kick, I believe it was, wasn't it, for the goal? Throw to Swindon again on that far side, low cross in, and Ford comes and claims it. Clearance downfield, looking for Harris, but it's a free header for Eiffel. Now Zach Whitbread comes through, and Painter just held his ground there, and there was obstruction, but Amankwa is on the ball and running through, and Millwall looking very open there. Here's Kanu again, picks it up on that far side, gets in the cross. This is blocked this time by Duffy, and out for a throw. There's a lot of talking and sorting out to be done in the Millwall dressing room at half-time. We're in injury time at the end of the first half. I haven't seen the board go up.
2 minutes you put up.
2 minutes. All out of play for a throw. Yes, indeed. Still playing at the end of the second half. The first half. Let's get ahead of ourselves here. It's end of the first half. Millwall 0, Swindon 1. The goal on 42 minutes. A free kick on the left by Robson Kanu, and Well, completely unmarked and no challenge at all on Billy Painter as he rose to head it past a despairing David Ford. It's Millwall 0, Swindon 1. Ball back on the edge of the Millwall penalty area, and oh dear, Zach Whitbread turns that behind for a corner, and the Lions are really rocking it. They'll be glad to get in at half-time, a goal down, I think.
Well, I think the biggest problem we've got here is the fact that he's got two debutants on the right-hand side. They're just not gelling at all. Duffy's having an absolute nightmare at the moment because they're just running past him for fun.
Corner will be taken by Timlin, and he'll play it in left-footed. It's gone a long way. In fact, it's gone far too far. Lewis Grabban will chase it all the way out. He's only got Isaac McLeod ahead of him. Now Grabban turns inside, and that is the end of the action for the first half. And Andy Frampton shows his annoyance by whacking the ball away. I don't think there'll be much paint left on that dressing room wall after Kenny Jackett and Joe Gallen have got stuck into him at half-time, because apart from that little spell just before Swindon scored the goal, Millwall have looked pretty poor, I have to say. Half-time score here, Millwall 0, Swindon 1. Second half, bit of work to do, I'm afraid. They trailed by a goal to 0, and apart from a little spell just before, ironically, Swindon scored their goal 3 minutes before the break, the Lions have been a bit out of sorts. I'm sure that Kenny Jackett has already not torn the paint off the walls by ranting and raving at him. It's not his way. He'll have spent the 15 minutes available to him just trying to get into the players and get them to do things a little differently, and they're certainly going to have to do that because they've made little headway. Just a couple of chances really. One to Adam Boulder early on, a header straight at the keeper, and then Brezovan, the Swindon Town keeper, making an excellent save to deny Jimmy Abdu with another header from a Neil Harris cross a little bit after that. But Swindon Town now taking to the field themselves, and they probably can't believe quite how easy they found it, Terry. They'll have come here sitting just a point and a place above the drop zone against one of the sides vying for the playoffs or automatic promotion, and will have thought they were going to have to get the tin hats on. It's not been like that, has it?
No, we just haven't seemed to have set any kind of tempo, and no sort of physical play as such. We're not getting the ball into their box. We're not putting them under any pressure in the final third. They've basically had it pretty easy. We had the one little 5 to 10 minute spell just before they scored, and that's about it really. The game was just allowed to sort of potter along at a low pace.
Well, Kenny Jackett clearly feels that certainly first 10 or 15 minutes he's going to stick with what he's got in terms of personnel, and having done some straight talking at the break, see if they can turn it around themselves. Millwall playing from left to right. They need this is one of those games that you've got down as a home win banker really, and Millwall haven't scored stacks of goals this season. If they're going to go on and win it, they've probably got to get the equaliser in the first 10 or 15 minutes here. Got to put more pressure on Swindon Town, who have been pretty comfortable just at those two chances I mentioned.
Well, usually as a game develops in sort of the first half, you sort of find out a little bit of where the sort of weaknesses are within the opposition, but we haven't really done enough to do that tonight.
Ball out on this near side with Robson Carney, but Tony Craig clears it up and turns it back to his goalkeeper, and Ford plays it up towards Isaac McLeod. Not been a great deal for him to feed off so far this evening. Andy Frampton collects the ball from Jimmy Abdu on that far side, plays it up to Lewis Grabban. Grabban back to Frampton again. And now Zach Whitbread has a look up. Who's making a run forward? The answer is Neil Harris. If he could just nod it, just went the wrong way, tried to nod it into the path of Isaac McLeod or Lewis Grabban. Tony Craig wins the ball in the air. Andy Frampton just doesn't quite get there. Oh, he's going to be penalised. What can Andy Frampton be penalised for there?
For not making a challenge. I have no idea what he's given that for.
He just ran through. He realised he couldn't make a challenge, so he didn't.
He just stopped, and the player sort of headed the ball, and then 2 or 3 steps later collided with him. You know, there was no challenge.
Jack Smith takes the free kick for Swindon. Zach Whitbread wins that in the air. Lewis Graben got away with putting his arms up a little bit now, but now he can use his pace and break forward, and is helped to the ground and wins probably quite a soft free kick the other way. I think Lewis just ran into a cul-de-sac there, but
he just ran into a group of players and sort of went onto the ground. I mean, no one really made any contact with the ball, or it was just a nothing, and the referee gave a foul, and yet, I don't know.
Anyway, Lewis has taken it quickly to Duffy. Duffy into the penalty area, looking for Harris. Ball cleared away by Timlin, goes over the head of Boulder. Boulder ducked under it, and it's gone out of play.
Adam Boulder got lucky there, because I don't think he had a clue that the player was behind him.
Throw to Millwall. Boulder receives it from Frampton. Plays it across to Tony Craig. Craig's got James Henry on this near side. Haven't really seen a great deal from him yet. Ball into Isaac McLeod. It's just not sticking up there, is it? Oh, Jimmy Abdu's caught.
I don't even think the referee was going to blow up there. It's only because the player stopped and charged across. Until initially, I don't think the referee actually had a clue what happened there.
Oh, Adam Boulder's not. Is in some discomfort. He was caught there by Gordon Greer, who's been quite physical, but there he just came in very late on Jimmy. I think that's it's got to be a yellow card. Let's hope Jimmy's okay. It's probably Jimmy Abdu's been Millwall's best player, I would have said, in the first half.
I think the referee's colourblind. Oh no, yeah, it is Greer now. He's talking to one of the other players. He's eventually going to book him.
Greer shakes hands with Jimmy Abdu, but it's not going to stop him getting a yellow card, and Jimmy hobbling off on this near side of the field. James Henry's going to take the free kick from Millwall. He's marching 5 or 6 paces back. He'll try and swing this one away from the goalkeeper, right-footed. Well, not the biggest of sides in the absence of Robson and Alexander. It's too close to the goalkeeper, who punches it away. Probably Zach Whitburn might have made contact with him, but it's gone out to Cox, and Cox will play it long, diagonal over to this near side. Richard Duffy has spotted the danger and just eventually turns away from Robson Kanu and clears it back to his goalkeeper. And header on from Harris, comes back now to Henry. Henry can get forward quickly. He's having a look up who's available. Can he get to the byline? Still James Henry does a little step over, does get to the byline now, tries to stand it up to the back post, but wins the corner. That's better. A bit more direct from Millwall.
Yes, I think he really had to sort of take the initiative himself, because there wasn't a lot showing for him, so he sort of had to force the issue of his own accord.
Zach Whitbread, Andy Frampton, Tony Craig all in there. They're the three who offer some height as the cross goes in too close to the near post, and it's whacked away and out of play for a throw.
This has become a trait in our recent games. We're looking for some kind of set-piece routine where we're playing these corners in low. It's just not working.
Well, it doesn't beat the first defender. It doesn't seem to matter who takes it either.
No, and it's something that obviously in training, yes, it may work, but then again, that's not the opposition. I mean,
ball out on this near side, back to Tony Craig. Craig squares it off to Andy Frampton, who receives it, wasn't quite expecting it there. Now back to Zach Whitbread. Whitbread plays a diagonal ball, which was out of play.
There was 3 shocking passes all on the trot where players just played the ball blind. And in the end, Zach basically just had to get rid of it because he was the last man and being put under pressure.
Throw to Swindon, level with the edge of the penalty area here. Throw up the line. Duffy wins it. Header on by Abdu. Away it goes once more though. And good piece of play by Painter, the goal scorer. And then gets it up towards Cox. And it's a 2-on-2 situation here. And David Ford slipped, but fortunately for him, the ball had just enough on it to take it away from Amanka.
Now, good play from Andy Frampton as well, who covered the man.
Now Lewis Graben down the left-hand side. Cuts inside and runs into trouble and wins a throw. Frampton takes it quickly to Harris. Harris holds it up. He needs support. He's got support behind from Frampton. He's trying to work himself a position to get the cross in. It's not a bad one. Looking for Henry. Henry didn't quite get there. Ball is whacked away only as far as Duffy. And now it's back out to Henry on this near side. Wasn't a great ball there from Richard Duffy, and Henry chasing it for all he's worth. Will he keep it in play? It's a throw. Tommy Vincent just got his body in the way. Wasn't the best of balls there for James Henry. Almost made something of it. Throw up this near touchline. Looks a bit like a foul throw there. Duffy eased under it. Tony Craig helps it forward towards the edge of the penalty area. It just goes over the head there of Adam Boulder. Everybody leaves it to everybody else, and Zach Whitman puts it out of play. Crowd getting a little bit restless now. Just need to.
He's got to switch some players about. He's either got to switch the wide men, or he's got to switch Tony Craig and Duffy around, because we need a right-sided centre-back, because that's umpteen times the ball's gone into the middle. We're ended with a left-sided centre-back trying to play the ball with his right foot, and it's gone straight out of play.
Duffy will take the throw now. There's nothing showing for him though. And Neil Harris comes towards it, chests it off to Isaac McLeod, who's played it out to the left-hand side to Frampton. Frampton plays it in deep into the penalty area, looking for Harris. Harris ducks under it, but James Henry didn't read it. Has to just keep it in play on this near side and wins the throw. It's good intelligent play by Harris there. Well, at least keeping Swindon penned in here without creating a clear-cut chance at the moment. Now again the throw is taken. Harris tries to just work his way around the defender, and in the end it's out for a Millwall throw. Tony Craig keen to get on with it as quickly as possible. Again, it's only Harris who's really showing for anybody. Now Craig turns it round the corner. Offside flag goes up against Isaac McLeod. Ball would have beat him out of touch anyway.
The problem even there, Isaac McLeod, the ball's trying to play it down in towards the corner flag over the top. He's the only player running forwards. Everyone else is running towards the man in possession.
Brezovan will take the goal kick for Swindon Town. All fans trying to get up a head of steam to get behind their team. Adam Boulder hooks one on. It'll be over the head of Harris and will come back towards Zach Whitbread. And Painter clearly just blocking Whitbread off, as he's done on more than one occasion there. Jimmy Abdu with a header out to this right-hand side. Henry plays it forward. Defender decides he can't leave it because both Harris and Isaac McLeod would have got there to it. Duffy comes to the ball and will take the throw into the feet of James Henry again. Back to Duffy, just keeps it in play. Henry has Cox back there doing some defensive work. Now Craig puts a curling cross in, looking for Harris. Ball cleared out as far as Henry. Henry takes it away from one challenge, goes to ground. He's never going to get a penalty for that one, I'm afraid.
Yeah, he just couldn't keep the ball tight enough under control near his body there as he tried to go, and then just lost balance. It was actually a good cross there from Tony Craig, but again, no one to attack it. We've just got no physical presence up front. Neil Harris is working hard, coming and get the ball on the flanks, but when it goes in the middle, there's just not numbers or physical presence in there.
Yeah, I think it's getting numbers into the boxes that is key as well. I mean, Millwall have had sort of 10 minutes of the ball pretty much in the Swindon half, as we say, that Cox tries to get moving forward, but Millwall have certainly taken the game to Swindon in the second half, as so far as we would have expected them to, but just waiting for that little something to break for them. Well, Eiffel almost got himself in a tangle as Neil Harris closed him down there. Used a good skill to get out of it. Now Eiffel's put under pressure there by Jamie Vince. That's better from Millwall, because all of a sudden Swindon looking a little bit rattled.
Well, that's the thing, their two centre-backs ain't the quickest, but we're not putting the ball in those kind of areas. We've got to get the ball in behind them and quickly.
Well, Harris miscontrols that time. Ball cleared away. And as far as Zach Whitbread has a little look, plays it to Craig again. Craig has to unload to Duffy on this near side. Duffy's being closed down, so he's got to go back to Whitbread. David Ford makes himself available for the ball. Oh, Zach's touch is a bit heavy. Just gets out of it. Abdu plays an awful ball. And it's picked up on this near side by Robson Kanu, and Zach Whitbread, and that's going to be the second goal as it wide of the target. Offside flag.
But the point was, Dino, there was 8 passes there, and we ended up losing the ball on the edge of our own box. Initially, we had the ball on the halfway line. We just kept passing the ball backwards. And each time they passed it, they gave the worst pass.
David Ford with the clearance up towards Harris. Harris beaten to that one by Eiffel. Through comes Andy Frampton, can't control it. Adam Boulder can't reach it. Now Millwall stretched again. Amankwa races into the right edge of the penalty area. Low cross takes the deflection, goes behind. And
well, that was a shocking cross because Painter on the penalty spot, completely unmarked, waiting for a cutback. But again, all of our own doing, just the simplest of passes we seem to be incapable of making.
Well, it really is a bit strange, isn't it, this evening?
Well, there's too many round pegs in square holes or square pegs in round holes. It's just not working, the pattern that we're trying to play. Swindon just aren't allowing us to do it.
Corner kick swung into the area. It's gone quite a long way. That's a appeal for handball there, not given. Ball takes a big deflection off Zach Whitbread, goes out for a corner.
Zach was the only one who was allowed to try and clear it. Ball fell 3 times, he managed to get a block, and each time no one else even attempted to get to the ball.
Swindon fans enjoying what they're seeing from their point of view. 3 minutes to the hour mark. Their team still leading by a 1-0, and for all Millwall's huff and puff for 10 minutes in the early stages of this second half, they've got nothing to show for it. And the goalkeeper, Brezovan, has just made the one save in the game as a whole. Now the cross comes in from the corner kick. David Ford takes the ball and he booms it forward, looking for Isel McLeod. Might break, but doesn't for Graben, as Gerald Eiffel does well. Now Jimmy Abdu heads it across towards that far side, but Swindon pick it up again. Good challenge from Zach Whitbread. Ball, does it stay in play?
It also gives the throw into us.
Oh, that's a bizarre one. And the referee wants it taken from further back. Frampton will take the throw. Here's Graben, collects it, gives it back to Andy Frampton, makes himself available, and then will start to move forward. And pings a ball with far too much on it. And I would imagine the manager's got to be thinking about a change now, because clearly he's got...
You can't be watching the same game as us if he isn't, because we're not doing anything.
We've got Ashley Grimes warming up down this near touchline. Scott Barron as well. Neil Harris trying to galvanise his teammates. Ball cleared away by goalkeeper Brezovan. Header from Zach Whitbread. Oh, Jimmy Abdu's been fouled there. He's got arms in his back, but now possibly a long ball through, and Isel McLeod, he's got 2 defenders round him. He tries one. It's well over the crossbar, but almost out of nothing. That was as good a chance as Millwall have had in the second half.
Well, when he's on form, they're the type of chances that Isel takes, because he managed to get his body in front, get himself set to play the shot, but he just couldn't keep it down.
Goal kick to Swindon Town. And Brezovan in no great hurry to take it. Clearance from Brezovan, the keeper. Tony Craig wins that. Adam Boulder helps it on, but again easy for Vincent. Now it might break for Harris. Harris does well to get himself out of a little hole and gets it out to Graben on that far side. This time Graben's gone past Smith, and the referee's got to take some action there. Well, they're still trailing here at the moment. It's Millwall 0, Swindon 1, and it's been a very disjointed Millwall performance all round. They just went, well, fairly close with Isel McLeod firing over, but to be perfectly honest, this is as poor a performance as we've seen from Millwall at the Den probably all season, and certainly Kenny Jackett's got some thinking to do if he's going to get this turned around before the end of the game. It is a must-win game for the Lions. You have to look at this, and 2 more games against sides down the bottom of the table. If they're going to continue their hopes of automatic promotion, you'd have had this one down as a home win banker, and at the moment they really are struggling. It's Millwall 0, Swindon 1. So booking for Jack Smith following that incident. We've not missed any of the play whilst we were reporting for BBC London. And now James Henry is going to prepare to take the free kick. Can he put it onto a blue shirted head? It's not a bad ball into the penalty area. It's well dealt with though by Mankwa. Actually, he really rose well and got that one clear. Now Painter is being watched by Jimmy Abdu. Abdu gets it back to Richard Duffy. Headed inside there by Zach Whitbread. McLeod tries to get it out to Harris on this near side. Can't do so. Frampton though is still forward and retains possession for Millwall. Back to Boulder, to Abdu, to Frampton. It's going to be under pressure. Needs to unload it quickly. Does so to Graben on that far side. Graben now, can he produce a decent cross? Oh, it wasn't bad actually. Aimed towards Isaac McLeod and Gerald Eichel knocks it behind for a corner. Better.
It was actually Henry who was out on that left-hand side, and really that's where he should stay for a little while because he's put in two really dangerous crosses from that side of the pitch.
Well, he's going to put in a cross from this corner now. It's a swing up. Oh, the goalkeeper's completely missed it, and Millwall just couldn't get ahead on that. And it's gone out for the goal kick. Well.
The referee looked at the linesman looked at the ref, neither of them had a clue, and then they give a goal kick.
Well, that was a great corner by James Henry. It just needed somebody to get any sort of touch on it.
Well, that's the thing that sort of disbelieving, because it was into a great area. It wasn't particularly high, but nobody made contact of any sort.
Keeper's taking an age to get the goal kick taken, and does so eventually. So Whitbread meets it. And Isaac McLeod is after it. Can he profit from it? No, the defender Greer gets it away. And Mankwa misjudges. Andy Frampton battles with him. And Frampton seems to be obstructed, but play continues. Harris collects. Tight for on that far side. And Henry tries to play it into the feet there of Isaac McLeod, but he was just off balance and he got it wrong. And now it's a chase back for Zach Whitbread, who plays it back up to Frampton. Frampton now into Harris, who's worked himself a bit of space. Offside flag goes up against McLeod. They all came up as one, Swindon Town there, and I think it was almost went into slow motion. It was obvious that Harris was going to try and play McLeod in on that far side.
Could he release it quick enough?
Free kick to Swindon, 63.5 minutes gone. They still lead by that solitary goal scored by Billy Painter. Free kick's a bit odd. Goes all the way through to David Ford. Ford boots it first time downfield onto the thigh there of Eiffel. Abdu wins it back for Millwall. To Frampton. Frampton eyeball looking for Isaac McLeod, who jumps for it. Can't win it, but he might get it at the second attempt and does do so. He's got it back there, Isaac McLeod. Now he needs a bit of help. He's spun away. He's got a bit tight for him. He's got bodies in the box. If Isaac can produce the cross, and he wins the corner. No, he doesn't. I thought he'd won the corner, but he won the goal kick, which is 4 players had made it into the penalty area. That wasn't the outcome they were looking for.
He just didn't do anything once he got to the byline. He was waiting for Smith to make a challenge. And Smith read his intentions and did nothing.
Referee eventually is suggesting to Peter Brezovan that he could just move a little bit quicker. Brezovan makes the clearance. Whitbread comes towards it. Adam Boulder tries to help him out, but it's knocked away from him by Mankwa. Now Andy Frampton comes up with it for Millwall. Comes out to Lewis Graben, who's over on this right-hand side. That's good skill from Graben. That's better on this right-hand side. He feels more comfortable. He's got 3 red shirts around him. He's got his work cut out if he's going to do anything there. It's just, has he? Yeah. He's run it out of play.
Just limped straight off the pitch.
I don't know. I think he's going to come back. Where is he? No. So a change is going to have to be made, and presumably we'll get the left-footed Barron on with it. He's just wandering back up the touchline here, and he doesn't look happy. Meantime, Millwall down to 10 men. Are trying to break forward on that far side with Harris. Harris turns inside, lays it back to Frampton. Ball played into Abdu. Abdu has a man outside him. It's James Henry again. Puts a high cross in. Brezovan. Ooh, made a bit of a mess of that.
No one followed it up.
And Graben over on this near touchline. I think he can't go off until such time as they can get the substitute ready. It's Ashley Grimes, I think, is going to come on.
It's offside, referee.
Right, now the substitution is going to be made.
We haven't even got the intelligence to wait for the substitution. We're trying to take a quick free kick.
I didn't think they were realising what's happening there, because Lewis was still on the edge of the pitch, and Ashley Grimes is going to stay on. He's actually going to play on this right-hand side. To be fair, James Henry's looked quite bright since he's moved over to the left. Ball up towards Harris. Harris wins the header. Isel McLeod looking to get on it, but if just a foot nicks it away from him. Adam Boulder, ball's bouncing around, ricocheted off her hand. Now it's out to the right, and Grimes will just keep it in play, really, on this right-hand side. Immediately has a look up, tries to get the cross in. Might break for Jimmy Abdu, helps it forward. Isel McLeod, Abdu, goes down and tried to backheel it there, Jimmy. Well, between them, they almost got themselves into a goal-scoring position, but probably going each other's way.
They was in a goal-scoring position, but no one would have a go at the goal.
There's a bit of a gentleman's excuse me there, I think. Headed back by Tony Craig. Charged down by... Oh, that's very harsh. That's whack. As Adam Boulder's saying, that hit me from less than a couple of feet away. How could I get my hand out of the way of that? Millwall are just beginning to look a bit brighter now. All of a sudden, with 23 minutes remaining, they've got Swindon Town penned back. I thought the ball went out of play further up the field, but the throw's been taken inside the Millwall half. Now Zach Whitbread plays it in towards McLeod. Headed back in towards Isel McLeod, but Eiffel it is who knocks it up in the air. Eisel's looking for it, but goalkeeper Brezovan makes a comfortable catch.
He's not going to give that as a back pass, even though it was an absolutely awful attempt there from Eiffel. He's actually sliced the ball backwards straight up in the air to his goalkeeper's been able to come and catch it.
Adam Boulder gets a challenge in. Ball goes out of play on this near side. Millwall still trailing by a goal to nil. 68 minutes gone here at the Den. Goal scored by Billy Painter on 42 minutes.
And then it does beg the question, Dino, why did we risk Lewis grabbing?
Well, because he presumably be past himself fit. Cox has gone down holding his head. And he stayed down. Physio is allowed to come on. Neil Harris is making an inquiry.
You know, why did he change the team to an extent that he did from the weekend, when the fact that they played so well? Dave Martin, yes, he's suspended, but you know, why make the other changes when they actually done a decent job for the majority of that game?
I suppose the answer to that is because he thought it would work, and unfortunately, I mean, the second half has been a lot better. You just need a break now. Cox is taking quite a while to get back to his feet. It's going to be a change for Swindon now. Jamie Vincent, is he coming off, or no? What's that? Cox is coming.
Someone's coming off.
Looks like Anthony.
I bet it's the player on the farthest side of the pitch.
Anthony McNamee is the one who's going to come on. He's actually going to replace Robson Khan, who's on this near side of the pitch. Quite a tricky little winger McNamee is to play on one wing for Watford with Ashley Young on the other at one stage. Unfortunately for Anthony, his career went one way and Young's went the other. Cox is...
he's just going to get himself in trouble, because he's supposed to come up back onto the pitch at the halfway line. He can't go back onto the pitch in an attacking position. The referee should do something about it. He shouldn't actually allow him to do that. Tony
Craig heads the ball clear following the free kick out to the right hand side. Smith just keeps it in play, and will play it back to the edge of the penalty area. And Cox is falling backwards and goes down, claiming a penalty. Here's McNamee, back to Vincent. Vincent with a lot of spin on that, and David Ford has to punch it, which he gets a good punch on that. Goes out of play for a throw on the far side. Smith will take the throw for Swindon. Into Painter, a good touch from him there, looking for a Manqua down that far side, challenged by James Henry. That's out for a corner. Henry doesn't believe it should be, and nor does Frampton there, having words with the linesman on that far side. And Michael Timlin will go across to take the corner kick for the visitors. Those minutes will start to tick away very, very quickly now. Just 20 remaining for Millwall to salvage something from this game. Curled in by Michael Timlin, and it was over the bar in the end by Patrick Kanuka, but David Ford just got himself a little bit lost there.
I've got to say, this is a game, Dana, where we're just lacking physical presence. We're coping at the back, but I'm afraid our forward line is just so lightweight.
Frampton tries to turn and get it up the touchline. That's a brilliant ball, actually, to Isel McLeod. 3-on-3 briefly here for Isel as he comes inside. He now needs to unload it. Does so for, well, it wasn't the best of balls for James Henry, and we'll just get a throw out of it. I don't think Henry was expecting it either. It's thrown in quickly to Henry. Now back to Frampton on his left foot. Puts it in with his right, though, and doesn't know where the ball's gone. Has to recover quickly and does so. Uses his body strength and then runs it out of play. It's looking like one of those nights.
Well, I'm afraid that at the end of the day, from what I'm watching, the manager's got to take the rap for this, because he sets the side up in a certain way, and with the changes he made tonight, whatever pattern of play he was trying to adopt, it just hasn't worked all night.
Ball played forward to the goal scorer. Painter knocks it into the path of Cox, but Craig initially intercepts, but Swindon are back in possession with Manqua towards the edge of the box. Good tackle from Zach Whitbread. Now it's back out to that left-hand side. Ball forward is a good one to Harris. Harris now needs support. He's getting it from Ashley Grimes. Can Neil Harris look up onto his right foot? Takes a deflection, and the goalkeeper makes the save comfortably in the end. But that was probably a good half chance.
Well, it was a full chance. The problem was it hit the defender on the bottom of the foot as Neil tried to whip it in, and that just took all the sting out of the effort, and the goalkeeper was able to gather it at the second attempt.
Now Kanuka for Swindon Town. No flag for offside as Cox keeps it in play. He's got two in the penalty area to aim for, but Zach Whitbread makes the interception and plays it out to Henry on that far side. Well, that's not the best of balls. Back to Andy Frampton. Smith is underneath his clearance. Jimmy Abdu tried to stretch and win the ball away from Timlin. That's a good diagonal ball. Duffy misses it, but he didn't. Now Duffy's got a problem. Richard Duffy struggling. He wants to come off, I think. Or is he saying he's okay?
No.
Clearance up towards Isel McLeod. Beaten to that one, but well won by Ashley Grimes. Tries to help it forward to Bolden. Duffy heads it forward again. Bolden challenges. Now Grimes gets the header in. That's a high foot there from Isel McLeod. Probably should have been a foul there on Greer.
I think Isel McLeod actually took his foot away there, and Greer was playing for it.
Alan Dunn's coming on.
Dunn is coming straight on. Duffy's had it.
Duffy takes the throw himself. Play will continue for a few moments longer. And now Zach Whitbread comes forward from the back, finds Harris. Slips just at the wrong moment, and suddenly the red shirts are streaming forward. Ball out to the right-hand side. Low cross is behind everybody, but in fact Cox took it away from McNamee. McNamee has it now. A couple of step overs there by Anthony McNamee. His shot takes a big deflection and is whacked away by Alan Boulder. Isel McLeod unable to get there. Now Adam Boulder has it. He's going to try and release Isel McLeod on this right-hand side. McLeod's got three defenders round him, and he needs to unload it. Isel has been brought down on the edge of the box.
Luckily he was, because he just ran himself into no man's land. He had a really good break, and for some reason he's...
Kanuka and Harris are getting a little bit tangled up.
And now I see Greer's now signaling to the bench that he's had it.
Right, well, whilst we sort this situation out, the referee wants words with Kanuka and Harris.
Well, Duffy's wandering off. Now he's wandering on. No one knows.
Well, he can't do anything until the referee's ready.
The referee hasn't got a clue what's happening.
He's got his hands full, I think, the ref at the moment. Millwall are making that change now with Duffy coming off and Alan Dunn on for the last 15 minutes of the game. So the free kick's fairly central. Neil Harris is over it. We saw him score from this distance and this position against Forest. Was it last season? A 2-2 draw, I think it was. I'll tell you what, how valuable would a goal be here now? It's not been the best of nights, but Millwall, a goal down, they're still in the game. They've had a lot of possession in this second half, but they need to have something to show for it, and Chopper could do with producing something a little bit special. Adam Boulder's over it. Tony Craig might fancy it as well. He could hit it left-footed. There's a wall of 4. Ashley Grimes is in it. Harris with it! Oh, brilliant save, Brisbane. That was going in the top corner.
That was a brilliant save. He set his wall up, went to the other side of the goal, but when it was going over the top, quick feet and just got a big hand to it to tip it over the crossbar.
So, corner. James Henry will take it. It's an outswinger. It's gone a long way across. Zach Whitbread tried to get something on it. Adam Boulder will chase out onto that far side. Still plenty of bodies in there. Played in towards Neil Harris. Harris stands one up and just wouldn't fall for Isel McLeod. Jimmy Abdu trying to make something happen. Ball out of play. Millwall throw. Certainly Millwall looking a lot better now. They're going to make another change. Swindon. They want to do it right now.
It's a centre back Greer.
They're going to bring on Jean-Francois Lesguenal. Greer goes off. Millwall just beginning to look a little bit more like it now. Can they keep this impetus going? They've only got 13 minutes remaining. Alan Dunn will take the throw. Receives the ball back on this near touchline. Not quite sure what that was about.
Tony Craig, no right foot.
Throw on this near side to Swindon.
Neil Harris is going to take it for them because
nobody in a real hurry. Lesguenal is going to take it for them. He's got quite a long throw, throws it up the line. Tony Craig wins the header. Alan Dunn beaten to that one by Painter, and David Ford's a long way out of his area. Plays it over confidently to Frampton. And Frampton has help from Ashley Grimes, who's moved over to the left-hand side at the moment. All over the head of Neil Harris, dealt with comfortably by Ifill. Now Frampton heads it forward, and Isel McLeod up against Jamie Vincent. Vincent wins it, but McLeod gets it down, just needs to give it back to Ashley Grimes. It's all very tight over on that far side, but Grimes has done well into towards the edge of the penalty area. Breaks for Frampton. Frampton into Grimes, who's looked very lively since he's come on. He plays it out to Alan Dunn. Henry's available on this right-hand side. Dunny, though, plays it in towards Henry. Towards McLeod, I beg your pardon.
It was actually quite a clever idea because it actually took a couple of defenders out. They didn't think he was going to cross it that early, but it just gave enough time for the goalkeeper to come and get it because he's a particularly big goalkeeper.
I think had he been less big, he wouldn't have got that free kick from Neil Harris a few moments ago. Adam Boulder tries to get one forward, but breaks it now for Jimmy Abdu. Abdu back to Alan Dunn. Dunn squares it off to Tony Craig. Craig has a look up. Wanted McLeod to make a run, but that's comfortable for Jamie Vincent just to cushion his header back to the goalkeeper.
It's no good McLeod moaning. He's got to go and make a physical challenge for the ball. He just let Jamie Vincent nod it back to the goalkeeper under no pressure, just because he didn't like the way the ball was played up to him.
Clearance helped on by Cox. That'll run all the way through to David Ford. Last 10 minutes then. Millwall still trailing by that goal to nil. Ford. Ball forward over towards this near side. Henry won't keep it in play. Runs out for a throw. But again, it'll take a bit of time over that. Lesguenal again with a long throw up the line. It's over the head of Tony Craig. Zach Whitbread got there. Alan Dunn back pedalling. Now Henry, but he's been easily dispossessed in this near touchline. McNamee would have been offside, and in fact was offside. Ford, I think, is going to go more route one now towards Harris. Harris slipped again, but he won the header towards McLeod. McLeod's got an arm in his back there, but
Again, it wasn't a physical enough challenge for him to keep possession of the ball. It was too light though.
Frampton hacks it forward. Might still fall for Adam Boulder there, but now Neil Harris. Nice backspin there, but that's back to the goalkeeper, who clears it left-footed. And allows Tony Craig to come for that one and wins the secondary header. And Millwall get a throw. Dunn wants to take it quickly into Jimmy Abdu. Abdu takes it on his chest. Hasn't got a great deal of options there. Gives it out to Frampton. Grimes is down that far touchline. He plays it in instead, looking for Adam Boulder. And it's whacked away by Kanyuka. We'll have a throw. Andy Frampton wants the ball back. Not sure where it is. Here we are. He's got it now. Frampton then with the throw, level with the edge of the area. He's sort of slinging in as long as he can towards Harris and Whitbread, but it's cleared away. Alan Dunn will come and retrieve it. Gets it back out to Frampton. Frampton now looking to get a cross in there. It's behind everybody. Tim Lynn heads it clear. And as far as Alan Dunn. Dunn plays it out to Henry on this near side. He'll try and go round his Madison. Good cross going in. It's eluded everybody. 3 players in there. Nobody could get the finishing touch on it. Super cross from James Henry there.
Absolutely nobody ran into the centre.
Ball back with Frampton. Frampton's cross is blocked. Another throw. Henry's made a good run forward now. Takes it on his chest. Little overhead from him, but straight to the goalkeeper.
Straight up the middle.
Eskinel from the throw out. Now McNamee. Alan Dunn should have time to knock this back to his goalkeeper. 7 minutes remaining. Millwall still trailing by a goal to nil. Clearance. Harris tucks under it slightly. Now Isa McLeod. He's running diagonally away. He's got 3 in the centre to aim for. Still Isel goes wide to the left. Needs to pull it back, and in the end his left foot drive is knocked out for the corner. Henry receives the ball back. Somebody's got to get it for him.
It seems the ball boys are asleep tonight, because that's a number of times the players have had to go get the ball themselves.
So James Henry with another of these. He's hit some good in-swinging corners, but Millwall just haven't managed to quite get ahead on it. Let's see if we can produce another one now. Craig makes a run. It's gone quite deep. The goalkeeper's got a bit of that. He says he was fouled by Frampton, but the referee didn't agree. Ball cleared forward to Dunn to Ashley Grimes. Grimes back in his own half. Boulder plays it forward towards Harris. Harris is tumbled over. Millwall get a free kick, and the ball's kicked away.
Now Cox has just wellied the ball at the other end of the pitch from the referee. Well, referee saying, "Oh yes, you didn't hear the whistle." What a load of rubbish.
Blair Stoics coming on for Swindon in just a moment.
Now he's going to book him. I think that's only because he tried to kiss him. Because he thought he was going to get away with it. But of course the referee's now taking out an eternity to take the player's name and show him the card. Now they're going to make a substitution.
Well, I'm afraid it's still Millwall 0, Swindon 1. We've got 6 minutes remaining. Neil Harris hit a blistering free kick a little while ago, which produced a brilliant save from Peter Bresnavan, but there really haven't been too many of those clear-cut opportunities for the Lions. They've had really all the play in this second half. They've battered away at Swindon without looking convincing that they're going to break them down. So a couple of substitutions made by Kenny Jackett, and now they've got a free kick which they're waiting to take. There should be quite a bit of injury time or added on time at the end of this game. Millwall desperately need a goal here. It's Millwall 0, Swindon 1. Adam Boulder now will take the free kick. Hits it diagonally towards Frampton or Zach Whitbread. Frampton gets a bit of that. Goalkeeper came out and grabs it at the second attempt. And then goes over as he clatters into Andy Frampton. Fortunately, he doesn't make too much of a meal of it. And the ball is played forward for Swindon. That's offside against Simon Cox. And David Ford will get the ball down and knock it forward as quick as he can. I think Tony Craig will just place it for him. And Ford with plenty on that, probably too much on it, is it? Yeah, one bouncing straight through to the goalkeeper.
It was too straight up the middle. one bounce through to the goalkeeper.
Probably 10 yards shorter, it might have been interesting. Preservan takes a bit of time and then clears it. He's got a bit more angle on it. Good header comes through from Andy Frampton. Eyes on the cloud, tries to win it, but Jack Smith does so. Straight up in the air it goes once more. Tony Craig's attempted clearance ricochets. Oh dear, what's Cox trying to do there? It falls over. Ball back up to Harris again. Ball comes off the back of Neil Harris's head. Two defenders miss it, and the ball ricochets. It takes a bounce with backspin and goes past them. Ford waits for it as it rolls through to him. Last 4 minutes plus added on time. Harris again wins a good header. Jimmy Abdul was looking for it. Ball again ricochets. Cleared away. Zach Whitbread just can't nick that one away from the substitute Sturrock. Ball goes out of play for a throw. Well, Millwall's promotion charge has just hit the buffers a little bit at the moment. There'll be a bit of thinking between now and Saturday. A bit of regrouping necessary. Still time possibly to nick an equaliser here. Challenge comes in from Ashley Grimes. The referee says not a good challenge. Grimes went in with just 1 foot there, but made some contact with was it Kanyuka? The players all offering their opinions, and the referee is going to have a word with Ashley and possibly book him. As Kanyuka's helped to his feet, Ashley Grimes awaits his fate. I'm just wondering how long the referee's going to add on at the end of this game. The yellow card is the punishment for Ashley. Desperate to try and help Millwall get back into it. 2 minutes showing on the clock.
I think we could play all night, Dino, and we're not going to score.
Free kick for Swindon, taken diagonally over to the far side, and that eventually falls for David Ford. Ford's clearance is going to go straight to Jack Smith, and Smith's header finds another red shirt. It's played out to McNamee on this near side. He won't keep it in play. Alan Dunn wants to get hold of it as quickly as possible and take the throw. Dunny up the line, header on by Ashley Grimes. Vincent slides in. Zach Whitbread, oh dear. Miscues, and out of play it goes for the throw to Swindon Town. Tony Wilson down on the edge of his technical area, and Kenny Jackett in contrast looking a little bit forlorn. Now Zach Whitbread gets the ball back. Played out to Alan Dunn on this near side. Dunn plays it into the channel. Isaac McLeod makes the run. He's got to make something happen here, Isaac. Been forced away. Who's in support of him? Lots of people in the box. Tony Craig plays it into Alan Dunn. Dunn takes a heavy touch and just gets it away from Cox, and then has to do so again. He needs Craigie to help him out, which he's done. Steady out. Oh no. There's obviously going to be a foul by Tony Craig, and Timlin knew it.
Again, that all stemmed from Isaac McLeod. He was given the ball down in the channel, went nowhere with it. A bad ball back into midfield, and then there we were struggling to retain possession, and we ended up giving a foul away.
Right, well, the 90 minutes is pretty much up. I've still not seen the board for the added on time. I would expect 4 or 5 minutes. We'll probably see about 3. And the ball is 4 minutes of added time. So just time for Millwall to salvage a point here, maybe. They'll need a bit of luck. Ford takes the goal kick up towards Harris. Harris chests it down. Now Frampton cuts inside, has a little look up, unloads it to Grimes. Grimes got a man out on that far side. It's James Henry. He hasn't got time to be too clever with it. He thinks about a shot of his own here, James Henry, and he blasts one! And it's goal from James Henry! 25 yards, top corner, unstoppable. The Lions have salvaged a point out of nothing. It's Millwall 1, Swindon Town 1.
Well, that was absolutely unbelievable. He drifted in field from the left-hand side onto his good right foot, and basically the Swindon players dared him to have a shot from good 25 to 30 yards. He absolutely hammered it into the top corner, and the goalkeeper had absolutely no chance. A fantastic that just wasn't on the cards. There was nothing happening. He drifted in field, no one came to close him down, and he absolutely launched it.
Well, that's confidence for you. Now then, still 3 minutes to go of added on time. Is that enough for the Lions to snatch an improbable winning goal?
Well, as long as we don't do nothing stupid in trying to do anything about it, but...
Ball thrown into David Ford. Ford,
as we almost do, as Dunny and David Ford managed to make a pig's ear of the throw-in. Swindon have got the ball on halfway.
Well, I mean, salvage the point they didn't want to throw that away, but do they stick or do they bust? Swindon finding a bit of space over on that far side. If Amankwa can keep it in play, Andy Frampton is chasing over there with him, and Amankwa's let it run out of play.
He was so busy looking what was behind him, he actually forgot to get the ball.
Throw into Adam Boulder. Boulder gets it down. It'll go long, and Isel McLeod will chase it. He holds it up well. Still Isel McLeod into Ashley Grimes, back to McLeod again. Now Grimes, left edge of the penalty area. He tries one. Oh, that was inches wide. And Neil Harris claims that was a corner.
That missed by an absolute whisker. The goalkeeper was rooted at the near post. It was floated over the top of him and just drifted wide of the post with a number of players running in.
Well, that might have been a spectacular second goal from Millwall. But as it is, we're probably in the last minute of added time now, and that's a foul on Zach Whitbread. So yet more time. David Ford saying, "Shall I take it?" Adam Boulder says, "No, let me have it." Everybody's going to go forward, and the ball will be launched by Adam Boulder into the danger area, up towards Harris. It's a Swindon head that wins it, and Blair Sturrock will just clear it away, only as far as Jimmy Abdu. Abdu back to Alan Dunn. Dunn to Boulder. He's got a man on this near side. It's not the ball that was needed. Easily cleared. And now Dunn will just head it back once more. Now James Henry. Is there another piece of magic from him? He was obstructed there. The referee says no. And Dunn has to chase it. Gets it down. Has a look up. Lays it back to his goalkeeper. And Ford this time will launch it up towards Isel McLeod. McLeod jumps a bit too early there, and it's cleared again to Frampton. Frampton tries to dink it over the top this time. Now it breaks for Jimmy Abdu. Abdu tries a shot, and that's just scoots wide of the target.
Just a rush of blood there as the ball fell for him, and really could have actually ran on with it because he wasn't getting closed down. There was only players running from behind him. So really could have gone on with that there. That was another good opportunity, really just because we launched a few balls into the middle and physically competed for it.
Well, Millwall have got better the longer the game's gone on, but unfortunately they haven't really got really good until the last 5 or 10 minutes. And that is the whistle, and Millwall get a point. A spectacular equalising goal it was too, from James Henry from all of 25 yards into the top corner. And in the end, albeit that the Lions went into this game looking for the 3 points, they've got a very valuable one. Yes, indeed, it finishes Millwall 1, Swindon 1. What a spectacular strike it was from young James Henry on loan from Reading on his home debut. He picked the ball up on the left-hand side, cut in and hit it from all of 25 yards into the top corner, giving goalkeeper Peter Bresvad no chance, and that levelled up the earlier strike in the first half from Billy Painter, his header, giving Swindon Town the lead. So in the end it was nail-biting stuff, but it finished Millwall 1, Swindon 1.